Are you totally different when it comes to sex and copulation? Have you judged yourself out of receiving pleasure? Have you judged yourself into receiving pleasure in certain ways and excluded other ways? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, pleasure diva and body whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight the topic is, do you love your assets? I know a lot of us probably don't love our assets, and sometimes we don't even know that we've got them. So before we delve into this topic that promises to be very interesting, because it's going to speak through me as the show goes on. It's one of my assets is going on the fly and pulling things out of my greatest asset. So that is what I'm going to be choosing today. And we're going to see where this show goes. So, again, for those of you who are brand spanking new to this station, welcome. You are courageous and amazing for choosing to join us on Inspired Choices Network, where everything is totally out of this reality and totally a reality that you could choose if you were willing to be totally you. And what else is possible on this station? We have so many shows that range from, say, for example, mine, The Pleasure Zone. We've got ones that, a lot of them deal with looking at where your limitations are, whether it's in your family, your life, your money, your health. So many of them are such an amazing contribution to really getting you to a place where you have a life that is actually fun for you. I don't know if you knew this, but when you actually showed up on this planet and chose embodiment, that means you chose a body. You actually chose fun. I know it's crazy, and it's true. A lot of us, you might have even been trained to believe that you showed up on this planet and this planet is miserable and awful, and all we have is death, decay, rot, and disease, and old age is supposed to look awful and terrible and wrinkly. There's a lot of teachings that espouse to that. They totally perpetuate that point of view. And I like to perpetuate the point of view that it is possible to actually have fun on this planet, have fun in these bodies, and that one of the greatest assets to choosing embodiment on this planet is the fact that you have a body. I know, this may be shocking, and today I know I shocked a lot of people on Facebook today with the revelation that you have a body. There was a lot of chat going on Facebook, so if you aren't friends with me on Facebook, check out May 8th, 2017. I did a live Facebook about bodies and the fact that you've got one. It's tricky, but true. So if you are somebody that doesn't even acknowledge that your body is an asset, let's start with that. You can get down to the nitty-gritty. You can start looking at, different parts of your body being assets, like, oh, you have fabulous eyes, you have fabulous breasts, wow, what a fantastically magical penis you have. You can look at all of that, and you can look at it as a whole and go, wow, I have an asset. It's called a body. And what are assets? Assets are things that we actually invest in that can start to grow and accumulate more wealth, more money. They can generate things for us. An asset is something that, we actually use to measure our value. It's really funny, right? So what are your assets? If you actually go to somebody who's trying to get a mortgage, they're going to look at what your assets are. They're going to look at what you have in investments, what you've got banked, where you have chosen to create debt or, past expenditures. They're going to look at all of that. They're going to look at what is your value and what are your assets. And so many times we forget that our greatest asset is the fact that we are embodied, and that with that, what we can create on this planet is something that's totally different than what you can create when you don't have a body. Why do I talk about bodies so much? Pleasure for me in the pleasure zone has so much to do with the experience of embodiment. So having a body is how we actually experience pleasure. Now, I can't say for sure. I'm not completely and totally for sure how it is that we experience pleasure without a body. And when I do ask that question, like truth, do you experience pleasure without a body? I get that it's a different thing. It's a different sort of energy than pleasure as we know it, as something that is more tangible, like a physiological response to some kind of stimuli. That would be sort of a pleasure experience. So what I'm wondering is where we have not placed value on having these bodies. And again, I love talking about bodies. Why? Because I work with bodies. I work with bodies literally every day of my life. And you know what? So do you. If you are listening to this show and you have a body, you actually work with bodies every day of your life too. You may work with them in a different way than I work with them. However, you have a body. So you are actually working with a body every day of your life. And whether you are choosing to do work like I do, where you facilitate other people's bodies energetically, physically, through movement, facilitation that is maybe verbal, whatever it is you're choosing, you, regardless of whether you have a business that's body-oriented or not, you work with bodies. You work with your own body. So that is one of your greatest assets. If you are missing limbs, say, for example, you're missing your hands, then, other parts of your body may become greater assets. Maybe your mouth is an asset. I'll get into that later. But your mouth can even be an asset, say, for art. You can stick a pen in your mouth and start to draw. Your mouth can be an asset for a lot of things. And my mind is now wandering like a squirrel into the land of fun and mouth-oriented, pleasurable things. And then there's also, that's like if you're missing a limb. And even if you're not missing a limb, your mouth can still be fun, right? So I'm truly curious about where we value and where we don't value these amazing things that we have chosen, these bodies that we have chosen. And so many times we have actually gone in our lives, we kind of take for granted that we have these bodies. We wake up in the morning, we've just like trudged through the day, and sometimes we don't even want to wake up in the morning. We're like, oh my God, I chose embodiment. This is so daunting. What the heck? Sometimes I literally could lie in bed for 20 minutes and ask myself about 40 questions, run energy processes on my body, and then I get this motivation to choose embodiment, wake up, be alive, and contribute to the planet. Sometimes is one of the greatest gifts is to first acknowledge I have a body. So I will, in the mornings, a lot of times I will do energy work on my body and go, okay, hi, body. You know what? Okay, cool. Grateful that you're here. And sometimes there's just this like, oh my God, am I still here? And I know that I'm not the only one that goes through that. And I've actually talked to a lot of people this week who are kind of going, oh man, like what is going on the planet right now? I feel everything's so daunting. Everything feels so heavy. And, so what are you aware of and what is your body aware of? Your body has an amazing capacity to pick up all kinds of things, all kinds of energies, all kinds of information. And that too is an amazing asset. It doesn't mean that it has to look a certain way to be an asset to you. It has value in that you utilize your body to create your life. Without your body, would you actually require creations of any kind? Would you require going out, writing a book, creating a song, building a house, cleaning your house, creating your business, meeting people. Without your body, would you require any of that? So in terms of like how we operate on this planet, our bodies are a phenomenal asset to creating everything that is pleasurable and enjoyable. And our bodies are the ones that actually have all the fun with that. So if you are somebody who, for example, doesn't acknowledge your body ever, or you only acknowledge it, maybe on occasion, if you're in a situation that requires it, for example, maybe you've had an injury and then you have to acknowledge, oh, my leg, oh, my back, you might start to acknowledge it, but you're not necessarily acknowledging the magic it is. You might be acknowledging that it exists. There may be some intensity going on in your body. And it's not that you're necessarily acknowledging that there's a possibility to change it. Oftentimes, we do these cute things of acknowledging with conclusions. Oh my God, I'm in pain. That doesn't mean you're not acknowledging. It's just that you are concluding you are in pain. You did acknowledge that there's something. It's that you haven't really chosen to expand that and to see what else your body could receive. So with your body being your greatest asset on this planet, have you actually invested in your body in a way that has your body sing, be joyful, happy, and contribute to you and, and your life you're living and your money inflows? Have you actually acknowledged that your body is such an amazing asset that it desires more? It actually would like to choose way more and have way more than you're probably choosing right now. So if you were congruent with what your body would like, what is possible? What would show up? So if you were in line and congruent with what your body is asking for and with what your body knows is possible, with what your being knows is possible, if those two were congruent, what could show up for you? What could show up for your body? What could you receive? What assets would start to change for you? Whether your asset is, you would like your breast to grow, your penis to grow, your stomach to grow in a different direction. The thing about growth is, we often think that, asking your body to grow means only that it's going to get bigger. And it's not. So you can ask your body to grow smaller. You can ask your body to grow bigger. It's that we sometimes think if we ask our bodies to grow, that it only means that they're going to get bigger. Our bodies are constantly growing because they're constantly changing and evolving. So what would be congruent for you and your body to ask for? And if asking is something that's really, really weird to you, I encourage you to join a call series, 100 Days of Up Your Ask with my friend Christine McIver, who's created this amazing call series. And for another day or two, it's like $25 to join this amazing call. And after that, it's $150, which is so freaking worth it for 100 days of upping your ask. And you can ask your body anything. And you can also ask your body to show you how it is your greatest asset. You can ask your body to be your greatest asset, and you can ask to receive the energy of everything that is for you. So if you first acknowledge that your body is your greatest asset, then you can start playing with it in a way that is so totally different, so totally a way that will have things show up for you that you probably thought were never possible, that are bizarre, and you may actually start to get that your body as an asset likes things, enjoys things that you might have never enjoyed. So start to play with that. Like, what are some things you've been totally in denial of and refusing that your body knows would be a contribution to it, that would actually increase the asset value of your body, how you value your body? So let's look at that more when we come back from this commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight the topic is about our assets. We are talking about, do you love your assets? You know, this title actually came up first because my husband lover, you know, is forever like letting me know that my assets, my greatest assets, are my behind, and he like loves my ass. So he literally like admires them so much that my bum grows. And the thing is, like, whatever you put attention on grows, and it increases. It'll increase in value. It can increase in size if you desire too. And you can have, you know, you can have it where if you don't desire it to grow, you can change that too. Like if you're like, oh, my bum is too big and I'd like that to change, well, you can actually change that too. And if somebody, you know, contributes to having and facilitating your body to have, you know, your assets grow, that can show up too, because people can facilitate bodies in the most interesting ways, definitely through putting energy on it. Just like, you know, if you put your energy onto a plant, it'll grow. And we know too that, you know, water molecules change when you put your energy onto it, just like bodies. Bodies are composed so much of water molecules. We literally can change our bodies through the energy that we are putting on them. So I had this like point of view that one of my greatest assets physically was my bum. Continually through my life, I've had, you know, most people will acknowledge, oh yeah, you've got a great bum. It's rare, but on occasion I have had a few people go, wow, you have fabulous boobs. You know, they're smallish, and yet some people acknowledge them as being fabulous, which is an awesome thing to get, because for the longest time I just never acknowledged them as assets. I could see them as sort of having a value in a way that they were able to, my breasts were able to feed my child. So they had a purpose and they had a value because they had a purpose. And so they did a function and they nourished my child, fed her, kept her alive, good boobs, you did a good job. So, if probably if I had not breastfed my child, I would still be in quite a funk about my boobs, or maybe not. Maybe I'd have no point of view about it. I just know that it was a huge contribution to me starting to get that, hey, they actually have, there's something cool about them. Like they aren't just like, they're not like, I had such a point of view that they were not my greatest assets. And, for the longest time too, a lot of things like, I never even considered my mind as an asset until probably the last couple of years. And actually just this evening, my lover husband, Mike, was saying, as I came in to do the show, I came into our bedroom and he was like hanging out here with me. Before the show started, he said, so how did, I got to sort of half produce a radio show today for the first time. It was like, whew, it was on the fly and I had training in 5 minutes and it was like, whoa. And Mike said, you know what? That's what I love about you is like, you can just like any situation, you just like take it on and you can just roll with it. And I was like, oh, wow, I guess that is an asset. I guess that's one of my capacities. One of my, your capacities are an asset as well. So I was like, oh, I never really thought of me like that. And he was like, yeah, like emergency situations, you're like so good with them. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. Never thought of it. So, sometimes it takes other people pointing out what our assets are in order for us to really see them or acknowledge them. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you are one of those people who like cannot see the beauty in you or in your body until, even if people say it to you 100 times and then finally there's this like little crack open that shows up and somebody goes, wow, your body is so awesome. It's like, it's such a gift. It's so playful. It's so fun. It's such a contribution. They might not use those words. They might be like, wow, you're so fun to have sex with or something. Like they might have some other language they're using and just be like, wow, thank you. Like start to acknowledge where and really start to get where you have assets. You might have assets in your talents or skills or your body itself. You just start to get that as my husband walked in half naked and his assets are fabulous. And so I can like enjoy his assets as he's walking into the room and you guys get to hear about it as he's like laughing at me as I'm talking about it. And now I can't talk about it anymore because he gave me the finger to the mouth. So don't tell them I have assets. He's got fabulous assets. So thank you for the Half Naked show. What an inspiration, what a contribution to my show. And again, what a contribution bodies are to inspiration and life. How fun is it? Like that just like woke up my energy seeing my half naked husband walk in the room all wet from a shower. Like how does it get any better than that, right? Like how lucky am I? And so for those of you out there who kind of maybe like shy away from receiving or shy away from like getting the attention, start to ask like what's going on there? Like what if your body would really like to have people go, wow, you got fabulous assets. Look at those. Look at your body. Look at your chest. Look at your back. Look at your love backs. I love faces. I love bodies. Like I don't know if there's a part of the body I don't like. Like maybe it's the appendix because it doesn't have a function and it causes people pain. But even then, I don't know. Maybe I like the appendix. I haven't gotten personal with it yet, so I don't know. But as far as I know, I really like bodies. But it's a fun thing to play with for sure. And I'm wondering, for those of you who really don't like your bodies at all, and I know there are lots of you out there, and I know I've been in your shoes, and it took me a while to start to like my body and to see it as an asset and to see it as a contribution to my life and my living, and fun and experience and embodiment and joy and all of it, everything that this planet has to offer and beyond, all realms and realities. So what tools can you use to actually see your body as an asset? Okay, so I'm going to have a fun one. I'm just going to invent this on the fly. I'm wondering if every body part of yours had a money value attached to it, because we're going to see your body as an asset, like a financial asset. Let's start at your toes. And what money value would you place on your toes? It can be anywhere from 0 to like $1 zillion. What money value would you place on the tip of your toes, the bottom of your feet, your heels, go all the way up? And we can go through this in a few minutes. We'll just look at the entire body. And what money value would you place on your calves, on your shins, on your knees? It's funny because in the United States of America, in Canada, we have our medical covered. In the United States and in other countries, they don't have their medical covered. So if you had to get a knee replacement, what would that cost you? It starts to get you to start to think about the value of your body. If you had to pay for a heart replacement, what would that cost you? What is the value of these body parts? They are valuable, my friends. Like if you went and took your whole body apart, there's value in it. I know that in Canada, if you're missing a limb, you get a certain amount of money for even chopping off a finger. There's like thousands of dollars you get if you're missing a limb because your body is valuable. And somewhere along the way, the government recognizes it. It's kind of like a secret thing that nobody says, hey, your body's valuable. Now, I'd like you to really get what it is for you, and it doesn't have to be the numbers that the doctors are saying, or that the government has said, or that somebody else has told you, oh, your vagina is worth $500 for having sex. What are you aware of? Like, what are your body parts? And as a whole, right? So look at all of them, your calves, your knees, your hips, go in, what is your vagina? What is your anus? What is your vulva? What is your nipples, name it, all of it, your stomach, your back. What value do these have for you? And if you really sat there and calculated, okay, $200,000 for feet, no, $500,000 for feet, maybe more, maybe $1 million for feet. My feet get me a lot of work. They get me a lot of things that contribute to the rest of my body. They get me moving and dancing. They get me walking. There's so much, I value my feet so much that I didn't even realize it. I wonder what they truly are worth to me. I'm actually going to do this exercise myself and sit down and really kind of go through and see what the value of my body is to me and get, if I really truly got what the value of my body was, I wonder how much more I would be willing to receive on behalf of my body. How much more money would I be willing to receive on behalf of my body if I actually knew what the value to me of my body was? So a great fun thing to play with. And I'm wondering for all of you out there listening, if you want to call in and talk about this, if you want to join us in the chat room, please do. I'm really curious what you're aware of when it comes to the value and the valuing of your body and how you've maybe completely forgotten some body parts, internal organs too. What is the value of your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your intestines? People have so many things going on, and if we truly valued them and got, wow, these things are literally priceless, they are so valuable, what would we choose to invest in our bodies? What would we choose to invest in this embodiment so that we could have more ease with our body, more joy with embodiment, more fun with it, and start to get the vibration that is actually congruent with what your body is telling you that it is, as an asset for you. Like your body is going, hi, I'm super valuable. And we're like, yeah, whatever. So if we actually got the energy that's congruent with that body, I wonder what could change for us. So as we go to this commercial break in a few seconds, I'd really like you to be present with your body, and especially those parts that you really don't like. I would really like you to kind of look at those, be aware of them, and start to ask, what value do they have for you? What, Are they an asset? And would you like to increase their asset value? Cool. So let's ask those questions as we go to this commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight's topic is, do you love your assets? And we've actually evolved this conversation from do you love it to actually looking at what value we place on our body parts, because our bodies are the ones that receive and require the money in this reality, and yet we probably have not even looked at our bodies as valuable or that they are an asset, or that they can increase in their asset value, or that we maybe have separated them into separate parts and that we value some parts and we don't value other parts. If you do see your body as a whole and you have a value of millions and millions of dollars on it, or you have a value of like $5 on it, regardless, you've actually started to look at your body as an asset and a value. Don't make the number that you've placed on it wrong. Just acknowledge that, and if you have no number on it, can you please acknowledge that your body has value, because it receives money, and that is in order, we don't actually require money in this. Except for in this reality, that's how we trade. You, an infinite being, doesn't require it. Your body does. So let's look at your body as this valuable, amazing commodity and asset. It's such an amazing commodity that there's only one of you in the planet. You're like the most dazzling, brilliant, beautiful diamond, kind of like the diamond from the Titanic that gets lost, and it's like the most hope diamond, right? It's like the most amazing diamond in the world. And yet you see yourself as a speck of sand. Yet you are like a hope diamond with all these amazing different facets. When this, different light shines on you from different angles, different parts of you show up. It's like, you're not always going to look the same in different light, just like in different energies or around different people. You're going to show up different. So don't expect that you're going to always show up the same or that you're going to always value yourself the same, because just like any commodity that is something that is a precious and rare commodity, the value of it does change. Generally speaking, and I don't know ever that it hasn't, that something is such a general and rare commodity, there is always a great value placed on it. I think maybe salt is the only one that has kind of changed over the centuries. And at one point, frankincense and myrrh had the same value as gold, thus they gave it to baby Jesus. But there's also, so there's been a few things over time that maybe were seen as a commodity that now we don't value as much. So what if you actually are one that increases in value continuously? We've always valued gold. It's always been a tradable commodity, and jewels. So what if you truly are like this multifaceted hope diamond, completely rare, completely you, completely unique? And what if you aren't lost? What if you are there, you're present, and you are sparkling and shining, and the world can see you? What parts of you do you see as valuable? Do you value your hands more than your eyes? Do you say, oh, I work with my hands, so your hands become more valuable than anything? Or do you say, oh, I read all day, so my eyes are very valuable to me? Some people have so much value placed on certain body parts that they have them insured. There are like hand models that insure their hands, or feet models that insure their feet. I know martial artists who are martial arts instructors who have had their hands insured and actually declared as weapons. So, we have these interesting ways of acknowledging value of our body parts, and yet we don't really sit back and go, oh yes, and our whole body is also valuable. So without certain parts, who would you be? And it's irrelevant whether you are missing hands in this embodiment, or whether you're missing legs or body parts, or your body looks unusual, like unique. What if that is an asset unto itself? Like, what if you are born with an extra finger? Like, what asset is that? I know we actually had a client come, and she was born with 6 fingers, and the parents really wanted her to have that changed, and they thought maybe we could do it energetically. And my mom was like, even if I could, I wouldn't, because what if that finger makes her more unique than anybody else around here? And what if she was born with it because she requires it for whatever she's going to create in the future? And I fully align with that point of view. Like, there is no reason to be like mangling your body, because what if you were born with 4 fingers or 6 fingers, and like whatever it is, it actually is creating the future that you came here to create. There are people who are born without hands who do art with their mouths that are phenomenal. Like, we don't know if they would have been the same artist without that. So just whether you have your hands and they're super valuable to you, or you weren't born with them and your mouth is super valuable to you, regardless, just get that you having this embodiment is an amazing and valuable asset. There's actually a guy named Nick Vučković, I think, or Vukovic. Anyway, he's like Croatian or Serbian, and I've seen this guy talk, and he was, I believe, born with thalidomide. He's like a thalidomide baby. And he has this amazing capacity to be a speaker, to inspire people. And he always refers to that he's like missing, he's got a flipper for a foot, and he's got these little hands, and he's got this gorgeous face. He's absolutely handsome, and he's married, and he's got kids, and he's a head, and he is a torso, and he's got little fingers, and he types with his flipper foot. And he, if you've never seen this man, is such an inspiration, and his body is a total asset. And he's such an amazing person that, that I go, like, whenever I start to think, oh yeah, I'm not valuable, for me, this guy is such an amazing contribution to the planet, and for us to acknowledge that whatever your body looks like and is like, your body is a huge asset. This guy skis, he mountain climbs. I don't even know how he does it. He's freaking amazing. And what an asset his body is to all of us. You know, the body that he was born with and what he can inspire in people through the body that he has is mind-blowing. And what inspiration can you be? And what contribution can you be with the body that you're born with? And what asset is that, not only to your life, but to the lives of everybody on this planet? Whether you know them or not, you have this like ripple effect that whatever it is you're choosing and creating goes out to everybody. So let's be really conscious and really aware that what we are choosing and creating goes out to the world and does affect everybody. So where would it be fun to create it so that we all see the value in ourselves and each other's? It's funny because there was a time too in history, and still is going on to this day on this planet, with sex trade and different trades, and slave trade that's still going on, and definitely like buying people back from war situations, even when people are kidnapped and there are ransoms placed on their body. There is this funny thing. There's a funny energy around value and bodies. So every like lifetime where your body was only valued because there was slavery of your body involved, or there was some kind of situation where you were kidnapped or something like that, and your body became having a value attached to it because of a ransom. It's like there are places where having value on your body became very strange, so it can be a very funny energy around it. And I encourage you to just like everywhere that's showing up for you, where you're like, oh, I don't want my body to be valuable, that's weird and gross. And I'm not saying that you have to choose what I'm asking you to choose. I'm asking you to look at where it's bothering you that your body could be an asset or valuable, or that you could place a money amount on any body part that you have, and like totally encourage you to start to change your points of view so that you can have choice, rather than being at the effect of whatever your point of view is, that it's just wrong to place a value on your body parts, or whatever that point of view is. It's stopping you from receiving everything that you could be receiving with your body, and the fabulous assets that are your body. If your nose is your greatest asset, if your breasts are, if your bum is, whatever it is, I don't care what body part it is. What I would really like to see is people starting to get over their points of view that there could be a value on their body, or that they are not valuing themselves, or that they don't see themselves as an asset to this planet, because you all are, every single one of you. You are just like that Hope Diamond. You are all an asset. You are all a unique, completely unusual being, and you're an asset to this planet. Whatever it is that you are choosing and creating, you don't have to have a radio show to be an asset. You don't have to be a public speaker. You don't have to have written a book or influenced thousands of people. You can really just show up being you. You might even have just planted some plants that then fed a bunch of animals, that fed more animals. Who knows what you're creating? You might not have even planted them. You might have walked by, acknowledged them, and they grew. It's you. It's whoever you are, and whatever it is that you're creating, you are an asset. You, in every single part of your body that you have, even if you're missing parts, and even if you think your parts are too big or too small, every single one of them, is an asset to this planet, to your life, and to everyone on this planet. I know it's a crazy thought to think that every single part of your body could be a contribution to this entire planet, that your big toe is a contribution to the planet. I know it sounds mental, and what if it's true? So how about when we start to look at that and we start to clear all the places where we made our bodies so wrong for having value, so all those lifetimes just destroy and uncreate all the stuff attached to them, what else can show up? So let's delve into whatever is left in this topic after we come back from this commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bar session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight's question is, do you love your assets? Because a lot of people don't even acknowledge they are an asset, that their body is an asset, that they have assets, that their assets can appreciate by acknowledging them, by going, wow, cool, yes, thank you, you are an asset, and I love you, and I'm so grateful for you. And one of the things that I mentioned before break was, all the lifetimes where our bodies were sold. There's been many lifetimes, many energies on the planet, so whether you believe in past lives or not, there have been time and again lives and lives of people who were bought and sold. Their bodies were bought and sold. So whether you're more of a person who's like, my great-great-grandfather, and you like, what's that called? Like genealogy more than you like past life theology, then let's go with that. Maybe in your genealogy, your ancestry has some relation to slavery, and maybe genetically you carry this energy of, oh, we were slaves. Okay, cool. Whatever that is, wherever this energy is coming from, I'd like you to just get it, gather it, cool. So everywhere that we are still judging our bodies as not being valuable or having a value placed on them, like we can be bought and sold like super cheap or something, like there's some kind of like they weren't valued enough, damn it, and if it was way more money, the chances were less people would be buying them. And whoever was getting bought would maybe be like, wow, I was worth $20 million. Sweet. Whatever, there may be a totally different energy around it. It's this devaluing of people that makes it really unfun. So everything that's bringing up and letting down, destroy, and uncreate all of it times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Wow, there's a lot on there. All right, so I just, I'm not going to clear for the next 4 minutes. I would just like you guys to acknowledge where that is showing up for you, and that if that does show up when you start going through your body parts and you're like, oh, it's just so weird, I don't want to put a value on that. And so if a number is coming up in your head and it's like, oh, fine, $10,000 on my vulva, and you're like, and you're annoyed and you're pissed off, start asking, hey, vulva, would you like to have more value placed on you? Like 20 million? Okay, is that too much? Like, and play with it, go back and forth until there's like a number that lights up your body, and your body is like, yeah, $957,243, vulva. Sweet. And then just receive that energy in your body, in those body parts. Ah, cool. I'll receive the energy of the 900 and whatever $1,000 and blah, blah, blah. And then cool, receive it in your body parts. And then, oh, there's more body parts that would like to receive more money in different ways. Ah, cool. Receive it. Receive all of it. Because your body does get that it is valuable. It's that we have made it so confusing, and like we've twisted it and turned it around and misidentified it and misapplied it and confused it and pretzeled it into something weird and ugly and unrecognizable, where it can be so fun. So up the ante if you get feeling weird about it, like, ooh, yeah, my toes, 500,000, ooh, that's not fun. Up the ante. I bet you start to get that you are actually way more valuable and a far greater asset. Even if you don't think you are as a being, I bet you're going to get that your body is a far greater asset than you ever thought. So play with that. And then just by chance, you might start to get that you, the being, is also super valuable and super frickin' brilliant for choosing the body that you've chosen in this embodiment. Because guess what? You are frickin' brilliant for choosing this body that is an ever-increasing asset. In fact, it's probably the greatest asset you've ever invested in this lifetime, and any other lifetime you chose embodiment, probably the greatest asset you've ever had. Because you know what? It will always increase in value if you value it. So acknowledge it as something that's an asset, value it, receive more from it. And what else is possible with bodies that we've never even considered? I really encourage you guys, if you enjoyed this show, please check out the other shows that I have in my archives. There's over 100 of them. If you haven't checked out my website yet, check it out. I just changed it again this week because I'm like a change freak. I enjoy change. I enjoy changing colors. I enjoy changing all kinds of things. So my website, if it stays the same for more than 7 months, there's something like I forgot about it or something. So I changed it up, and I'd love you guys to check out the new colors for spring that are actually not spring colors. They just lit me up. So that's milicajelenic.com. I have lots of classes coming up. Lots of them like facelift. I have an Access Energetic facelift class, which I love. It's one of my favorite classes to facilitate. I happen to have a crazy ass capacity with Access Energetic facelift. And I'm so grateful that it's come into my life in the last 5 years and what it's created for other bodies too. And the Access Bars class, which has been a game changer and life changer. And I'm hosting an amazing woman named Juna Gooder in June 2nd to 4th in Madoc, Ontario for a 3-day body class that is one of the most scrumptious classes. My body chooses it time and again because I am like an energy junkie and love to have energy work on my body. So I want to thank you guys for listening tonight all the way through, or when you've listened to it. And please check out next week's show, whatever that happened to be posted for. I don't remember.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.